don't know that I've really ever thought of where a loofah sponge comes from, but if I had, I think I would say that it came from the sea, the ocean, some kind of marine life. But it's not. It's a vegetable, and it's a member of the pumpkin family, and it grows on a vine. And that's loofah. And this is some of the loofah that I've already peeled and processed. And I've got mine growing on a cattle panel trellis, which I love doing because there's lots of room. And as you can see, as we go into it, there's, whoops, lots and lots of loofah on this trellis. Now, a lot of these are still squishy, so the sponge is still developing. But if I can find a green one that's gotten hard, like that, you can hear, then the sponge is probably developed and it'll come out nice. It'll be a little bit harder than if I left it on the vine to where it got completely dried out. But I like to pick the green ones better because then the sponge itself is a whiter sponge. Whereas if I leave it on the vine, then it'll get really dark and the sponge gets a little bit darker also. However, if I get this one and take the seeds will not be viable, they'll be white. And if I leave it on the vine and let it get dark, then the seeds will be more of a blacky brown, and then they will be viable and I can use them to plant for next year. So let's see what we've got. We've got our green loofah, and we're gonna see if we've got some sponges inside of it. We'll go from this to some nice loofah sponges, we hope. So first of all, you can hear it, it's kind of crunchy, and I'm going to cut the end off. This other end you can just kind of pop off, which is what it will do in nature. This end will fall off, and inside there are all the seeds, which would, if you left it on the vine, all of this would dry out. It would be very dark brown and dry and brittle, and the seeds would come out. But I harvested earlier while it was green because I didn't want the loofah to turn so dark. I find that if it's from a green loofah, rather than leaving it on the vine, the loofah sponge itself will be a nicer color. So I'm gonna score this if I don't cut my finger off. And then this will just peel away. And inside, you have the sponge. You can see it's all full of like gunky gunk and full of seeds. So I'm gonna soak it for a while, and actually I'm gonna cut it so that I don't want a loofah this size. So I'll cut it so it's more like this size, and it'll be easier to soak this way. So it's easier to squeeze out, and you just squeeze and you can see the seeds coming out and all the gunk coming out. Then I'll dry it and wash it real good and let it dry out again, and then we'll have loofah sponges. I'm also going to make flat loofah that you fold up and put the soap inside of it, and that's done a little bit differently. And so I have cut it into a sheet, and I've got a bar of soap that I'm going to put inside of it and roll it up, and then I'll sew around the edges.